It's great to have you here. Welcome to Pluralsight Live.
Delighted to be here. Hi, everyone. What an incredible morning, and I'm proud to be a board member and excited to share a few moments with each of you.
Awesome. Well, let me give a bit of an introduction to who you are so the audience knows who they have here. So Scott is the managing partner of High Alpha, a venture studio that focuses on launching, building, and scaling enterprise cloud businesses. Additionally, Scott is the founder, CEO, and was also the chairman of ExactTarget from inception to scaling, ultimately to an IPO and then acquisition by Salesforce for $2.5 billion. Additionally, he spent time at Salesforce managing the Marketing Cloud, working closely with Mark Benioff. And additionally, Scott's the chairman of Indiana Sports Corp, in addition to OfNextech. And we'll get into a little bit of those, the work you're focused on there as well here. Let's start with the Indiana Sports Corp. I know from some of our conversations you're a big sports fan, as am I. And you've done a lot of work to bring big-time sporting events to the state of Indiana. What is your favorite sporting event you've been to there in the state?
Yeah, no, thanks, Brandon. And just a quick word on Indiana Sports Corp. We were the first sports commission in the United States to use sports as a driver for economic development. So it's an incredibly fun mission of how do we bring world-class sporting events to Indiana to drive the economy forward. And we've got an incredible lineup actually coming over the next 2 or 3 years. NBA All-Star Game, Final Four, College Football Championship. And we actually just announced last week that Techstars Accelerator will launch a sports tech accelerator in Indianapolis. So any of you entrepreneurs that have a passion for sports-related technology, we're hoping Indianapolis is a place to build that company. Favorite sporting event, Brandon, would be the Super Bowl. We hosted the Super Bowl in 2012, Super Bowl 46, and it was really a remarkable experience. And one of my favorite leadership mantras that we really experienced through the Super Bowl was that leadership is imagining your role in the largest context possible. And our mission was to make the Super Bowl more than a game, to really make it transformative for the city of Indianapolis, and that's really what we did. So we drove a lot of innovations. I was on the host committee running marketing. We launched the first Super Bowl Village. We launched the first Super Bowl Command Center. And then I think most unique and perhaps germane to everything we're talking about today is we saw an incredible opportunity for training and up-leveling skills. And for any of you who have been to Indianapolis or might be from Indy, we really represent Midwest values, kindness, hospitality, and we wanted to create a breakthrough experience for every visitor from around the world that came to Indianapolis. So we built a training platform and launched super service training for literally every hospitality worker throughout the city of Indianapolis. They all had to go through training, get certified, taxi drivers, workers in restaurants, hotels, airport, so we could create a holistic and seamless customer service experience for an event like the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. I have 4 boys at home and noted who I need to ask for tickets in the next big sporting event.
I can help you out.
So not only have you done amazing work of pulling off an event of that type of scale, you've also built and scaled a company to well over $2.5 billion of value. And in doing that, I've heard you've referenced that as like your PhD in software as a service business model. Ultimately, you guys scaled it to the point that Salesforce saw it as an amazing marketing cloud application and purchased you guys, and you work closely with Mark Benioff. Maybe tell us a little bit more about what you learned from Mark as you worked with him as he's trying to navigate a changing technology environment himself to scale Salesforce.
I'd be happy to. We had a remarkable experience at ExactTarget, I think very similar to what we're all experiencing here at Pluralsight. Founded a company with lots of hopes and dreams, and we were fortunate to ride the wave of digital marketing and ride the wave of the cloud and build a breakout software as a service leader. We went public in March of 12 and then joined Salesforce in summer of 13, and we really became the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and it's been a real honor to watch that organization continue to grow and thrive. So actually today, what was ExactTarget and is the Salesforce Marketing Cloud is more than $1 billion business within Salesforce. And the tallest building in the state of Indiana now is called the Salesforce Tower. So it's had a really transformative impact on our community. I stayed for about a year leading the integration and leading the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, which really was an incredible experience. It was absolutely my PhD in SaaS and had a chance to work directly for Mark Benioff for a year. And that was really an incredible experience. What I think makes Mark and Salesforce so special is how they're always thinking ahead and how they really do have the learning mindset. And Mark would often talk about the beginner's mind, and that the beginner's mind, the possibilities are endless. With an expert's mind, the possibilities are few. And he really lived that value and really drove that through the organization. We'd be getting ready for Dreamforce, and he'd already have teams working on the next Dreamforce and the next Dreamforce, really very openly thinking about how do we get better and what will the future hold. And probably one of my funnest stories to kind of amplify that point, we'd just been acquired. I really hadn't had a manager in a long, long time other than my board of directors, and all of a sudden Mark Benioff is your new manager, and he's iconic CEO and really bigger than life character and brilliant in so many ways. And we were supposed to have our first one-on-one. We were going to have weekly one-on-one meetings, and we were meeting in a hotel, and kind of scampered over to the hotel nervous, anxious, and he wasn't there. And I couldn't find him, and I ran into his assistant, Joe, who said, "Oh, no, Mark's over at the shopping mall. Why don't you go meet him over there?" Sure. Of course. So I scooted over to the mall and actually found Mark in an AT&T store. After listening to Cody today, it probably would be a T-Mobile store today.
There you go.
Just learning. He was one-on-one with the sales associate for 45 minutes, who had no idea who he was, by the way, just asking questions. And they were really around the connected home products and IoT and where AT&T for the home was going as a product suite. And to me, I'll never forget that. He was so busy, had so much on his plate, but he brought the beginner's mind personally to the organization and really lived that value.
I love that, the culture of learning within Salesforce. Kind of speaking of that, when you were at ExactTarget and building the business there, one of the key differentiators, perhaps the biggest one for you as I understand it, is the ExactTarget Orange culture. Tell us a little bit more about why that was so critical for your success as a business.
Sure. I think culture is everything. I really viewed my responsibility as CEO as building an organization that phenomenal people wanted to be a part of and would learn and grow, and we'd be on this amazing journey together. And I very much subscribe to a servant leadership mindset, and that's really what we work to bring to ExactTarget every day. What was really fun is that our brand color was the color orange, and I'm a marketer at heart, and when you look at the kind of landscape of software companies, at the time, another amazing Utah company, Omniture, had a special green, and if you saw that green, you just knew that was Omniture, and Salesforce was red, and I really felt that ExactTarget could own the color orange. And we loved orange because of its uniqueness, its energy, its vibrancy. And along the way, our customers and partners would keep saying, "I love your people. That's why we're doing business together. It's all about people and relationships and caring for us and elevating the role of the marketer." And we decided to turn our brand color inside. We called it marketing from the inside out, and we framed our culture as orange, be orange. So being ExactTarget was about being orange. And where I think cultures really take on the next level, they really transcend impact, and I very much feel that today is when the culture extends beyond the four walls of the company and customers and partners feel a part of the culture. And they're helping to shape and evolve the culture. I would often be asked the question, what do you do to preserve your culture, protect it? And really my recognition is that culture is dynamic, it's fluid, it's always evolving, and it's the whole family and the whole ecosystem. Now I did learn earlier that the brand color for Pluralsight is an orange to pink gradient.
Right.
And that's kind of my personal journey, actually orange to pink, and perhaps be pink, maybe it'll mean something to Pluralsight in the future. We'll see.
I love it. I know one of the other things you're passionate about, in addition to building the culture ExactTarget and scaling the business, was actually building ExactTarget, which is focused on computer science education in the state of Indiana and a partner with co.org. Maybe tell us a little bit more about why you're so passionate about computer science education in your home state.
Sure. Hopefully, through this conversation and getting to know me, you'll see why I love Pluralsight so much. And a big element is mission alignment. When we were growing ExactTarget, we started the ExactTarget Foundation. Then we became Salesforce, and their foundation is amazing. And it really became confusing that we had two foundations. So we reimagined ExactTarget Foundation as ExactTech, and we went all in on computer science education. We partnered with co.org, phenomenal nonprofit out of Seattle, really leading the charge around computer science reform and education. And we started school by school, district by district, inspiring, partnering, collaborating with schools to encourage them to teach computer science. And when we started 3 or 4 years ago, only 20% of high schools were even teaching computer science, and we weren't reaching inner city schools, we weren't reaching rural schools, and that really became our mission. And I'm really proud, 3 or 4 years later, we've trained hundreds of teachers, thousands of students have taken the code.org curriculum, and most recently, at the Indiana State House, we passed a new bill requiring all K through 12 schools to teach computer science by 2021. And I would encourage all of you, and so many of you are doing this already, but partner with your local schools and help them catch the wave of digital technology, help them become excited about computer science and the critical thinking and problem-solving skills that you pick up along the way. And so much of our focus is on the student, but it's also on the teacher. There's a real shortage of computer science teachers throughout the United States and I think the world, and those teachers need the skills and the confidence that many of us can provide, help them be confident and effective in the classroom.
I love that. I'm focused on social impact in addition to strategy at Pluralsight. I think it's a great tee up for some of the conversations we'll have tomorrow. So switching gears a little bit, you focus currently today on High Alpha, venture studio that not only invests but helps build and scale enterprise cloud businesses. And you see a lot of technologies, I'm sure, as you look at all those businesses that come through the studio. What advice would you have for our group here, particularly many of them technologists that are focused on investing in different technologies? What advice would you have on that, or the skills and capabilities needed to help bring those technologies to life?
Sure. So just a quick word on High Alpha. We're pioneering a new model for software entrepreneurship, and we're one part startup studio where we identify trends and launch new software companies, new enterprise cloud companies, and we're one part venture fund. So we get a really broad view of what's happening in the world of software, really at the early stage, and having a tremendous time kind of building out this new model. We have a team of about 35 to 40 people, from data scientists and engineers to business analysts to SaaS experts. And I would say, Brandon, probably the two trends we're seeing in the most prolific way, and it matches our staffing and resourcing strategy. The first would just be data science. We built a data science practice, and we're instilling data science principles in every startup, really from day one, thinking about how data can be an asset, building out predictive models, leveraging data science, and then what we refer to as a coaching network. We feel that the future of software is software coaching workers to be more effective based on data and based on work that they're doing and their colleagues are doing around the world. So we think a lot about data science and coaching networks. I would say the second trend that has been really impactful, and we've talked about it throughout the day today, but is that whole digital transformation of every company working to become a software company. And as a result, we've ended up building a corporate innovation consulting practice where we help large companies think creatively, think and operate like a startup. And we're seeing this big trend where large companies traditionally would invest heavily in R&D, and that's how they spawn new ideas. Sure. Then I think the second wave was really M&A. If you can't innovate inside your four walls, you go buy innovation. And the third, we believe, is new company creation, both inside the four walls and outside the four walls of big companies, and helping these companies compress decision cycles and really up-level the digital and technical aptitude of all their employees.
Yeah, I love it. There's just so much change going on, and you guys are at the center of a lot of it in your space, and I think it's great advice for the group around how they really focus on innovation and the culture of innovation within their companies as they scale. Maybe to wrap up, you've had a lot of opportunities you can pursue, and you chose a year ago to join the Pluralsight board, obviously deeply committed to Pluralsight. Maybe share a little bit with the group as to what was compelling about Pluralsight.
I'd be happy to. It sincerely is an absolute honor to be here and to be part of the company. My first event with Pluralsight was Pluralsight Live 1 year ago, and the last year has been remarkable with the growth of the company, Pluralsight 1 and the bigger mission, the IPO that happened in May. And what I've enjoyed most is just the team, the people, the culture, meeting authors, customers, partners. There's something really, really special here. And I genuinely think we're just getting started. And you can hopefully tell through my passion around community and education that my values are incredibly aligned with the big vision that we have here at Pluralsight. And I think even culturally, I feel a really wonderful match. You know, at Pluralsight, and hopefully you're really getting this sense today, the team, Aaron and Nate and the leadership team are remarkable. So I love them on a real personal level, have a big vision. We want to change the world and provide equitable access to digital skills education, but also do it the right way. So there's a real authenticity and genuineness. When Aaron talks about the big vision around building skills and building these tools that anyone can access around the world, it's genuine. And then one of my favorite parts in the morning, when Nate starts welling up talking about his team, when he starts getting teary-eyed, like that's really, really sincere. There's a special team and a special feeling here, and I'm privileged to be a part of it, and it's such a pleasure to get a chance to meet all of you and spend a few minutes together today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Great insights on building a culture, adapting to technology, and scaling a SaaS business. So thank you for your time.